So let me paint you a picture real quick. You're at a pool party and your crush is there. And you know, the feared time comes when you have to finally take that shirt off. But obviously, you know, you're not the only guy there. And lo and behold, your friend Brad. Now, Brad here is nothing like you. For the last 4 years, Brad has been lifting, dieting consistently, training all 4 muscle groups 4 times a week, and he looks absolutely shredded. Chiseled jawline, arms are popping, chest is popping. He's got an absolutely shredded 8-pack, and the girl you seek doesn't even bat an eye at you. Now listen, we've all been there before. I'm gonna jump to conclusions a little bit. You probably clicked on this video because you're either A, overweight, B, very skinny, or C, skinny fat. I've been lifting for the last 3 years and lost about 60 pounds. I'm gonna give you a full, no BS guide on how I did it. Firstly, let me just say, if you think that lifting and going to the gym and losing weight and getting abs is gonna get you more girls, then you would be absolutely correct. It does significantly help a lot. It's obviously not the only factor that matters, but people that tell you it doesn't are lying to you. Now, most videos are going to tell you what you should do, but I'm going to start off by telling you what not to do. There's really 2 main mistakes most people make when they go to the gym. The main biggest one is crash dieting. What is crash dieting, you may ask? When you just look at yourself and say, that's it, I'm done. I'm cutting out all my junk food. I'm only going to eat clean, only fruits, vegetables, red meat, fish, and no carbs, no this, no that. If you are lucky, you will go about 2 months successful on that, and that's being very generous. 2 months is a very good time for a crash diet. I've never once hit a successful crash diet for 2 months straight, but it's called a crash diet for a reason. Yeah, you might lose a little bit of weight, maybe you'll get some progress, but once that motivation runs out, you're gonna gain all that weight back, if not maybe even more weight, which yes, has happened to me several times. And number 2, only training abs and doing a bunch of cardio. While training abs and doing cardio is good, you still want to build muscle and you still want to enjoy what you're doing. I don't know anyone who just enjoys walking on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes then hitting a 30-minute ab circuit. And I'm going to tell you what I did to get a chiseled 6-pack without ever doing a single ab circuit during my entire journey. Now, obviously, the most important thing is your training regimen. Now, I could sit here and tell you every single workout you should do and give you a whole plan, but that's not what I'm here to tell you to do. The best plan is one that you could realistically stick to, and more importantly, one that you enjoy. When you look at the muscle groups, chest, biceps, triceps, back, shoulders, and legs, it doesn't really matter what your split is, but ideally you want to be training them twice a week. Now, the workout advice I will give you is the number 1 thing is to progressive overload. And a short-term way of explaining what that means is to pretty much just go harder than you went last time.
Work harder than last time.
If you're doing bench press and you have a 25 on each side and you've been doing that for a week straight, next week try to go up to a 30 on each side. And you could apply that to pretty much every single workout. And more importantly, make sure you're training with intensity over volume. You realistically won't need more than 8 sets per muscle group per 1 workout session, which will give you about 16 sets per week if you're hitting it twice a week. I see it too many times. People will do 5 sets of 5 different workouts. It's pointless. You're gonna overtrain. You're gonna burn yourself out, and most importantly, you're gonna get bored. For the bigger muscle groups such as chest, back, and legs, probably need 3 to 4 workouts per each, do 2 to 3 sets per workout, and go to failure on almost all your reps. And for your shoulders, biceps, and triceps, you're probably only gonna need 2 to 3 workouts per each, and somewhere between 6 to 9 sets. Also, most importantly, a big myth is that you could spot reduce fat. What I mean by this is if you're overweight and you think doing a bunch of crunches is gonna get you abs, simply not true. The only way to actually get abs is to become leaner, and when you do compound movements such as deadlift, squat, bench, rows, pretty much any workout that'll work more than 1 muscle group at the same time, you're going to be engaging your core a lot, and you're naturally going to get a defined core by doing so. Also, I'm going to assume that 95% of people watching this video, goal is to become aesthetic and not a mass monster. There's nothing wrong with just trying to put on a bunch of mass, but most people, they just want to be confident with their shirt off and look better than they did before. We have some muscle around their arms and chest, some decent quads for when they wear shorts, and obviously a toned core. Best advice I could really give is to just not overcomplicate it. Also, you probably hear a lot of people talking about bulking and cutting. Is it really necessary? No. Is it effective though? Yes. This goes back to what I was just saying. Most people, their goal is to not really get that bodybuilder look. Most people just want to have that aesthetic look. Best thing you could do is to get around a body weight that you're comfortable with, not peeled to the bone, but your abs are still popping a little bit and you're definitely not chubby or overweight. And stick around that, keep lifting, and you will make a lot of progress. And obviously the biggest perk of this is you will look good year round. Coming from someone who has bulked and cut multiple times, when I am on my peak bulk, I absolutely despise the the way I look, and when I'm at my peak cut, I physically cannot maintain it for more than 2 or 3 weeks at most because I just have no energy and feel like crap. What's the key to losing weight? You hear a lot of different ways online, and what I'm going to tell you is the only valid way to lose weight. Any other way, do not listen to. This is scientifically proven, 100% correct. I spent 3 years of my life trying to do crash diets. None of them ever worked. I switched to this. I wasn't even dieting and I lost 60 pounds. And what's the secret? It's simply a calorie deficit. And how do you find that? Well, there's 2 ways. The first step is I would highly recommend downloading an app such as MyFitnessPal to track all of your calories and macros. You don't have to track your calories and macros forever, although it does make it easier. You do need to do this at least one time to figure out what your maintenance is, what your surplus is, and what your deficit is. And to figure all of those out, the way I would recommend doing it is tracking everything you eat for a week. So just eat normally, don't diet or anything. And let's say you figure out you're eating 3,300 calories a day, which is quite a high number for someone who doesn't work out. Take that number and cut it by 300 to 500 calories. Now you'll notice if you're still not losing weight by doing this, cut it down by a little more. I like to move in increments of 300. If you're losing weight too quick, maybe bump it up by 200 or 300. And if you're still somehow gaining weight, obviously just cut it down even more. And this should be pretty self-explanatory. Your maintenance is going to be whatever your original number you got was, and your surplus will be about 300 to 500 above whatever the number you got was. The best advice I could give you is that if you're overweight, a lot of people will tell you to bulk anyways for 2 years, but I highly do not recommend that because you're going to enjoy the process more if you actually enjoy the way you look. For example, during my first year of lifting, I cut 60 pounds off of my frame, and even though I might have a little more muscle now looking back on it, the confidence boost I got and how much it changed my life just actually enjoying how I look is something I would never trade out. I actually had abs for once in my life. I had chest definition, arm definition, and because it's your first year lifting, you're gonna put on muscle no matter what, even if you're doing it incorrectly. And something also very important to be noted, the number one benefit of tracking your calories is that you don't have to cut out any junk food or any of your favorite foods that you eat. For example, if you like going to McDonald's every day, which by the way, I went to McDonald's or Wendy's every single day when I was losing 60 pounds. Notice that they have calories on the menu, and let's say you're eating 2,500 calories a day and you have 1,500 calories left. You can absolutely go to Wendy's and enjoy a chicken sandwich, or go to McDonald's and enjoy a hamburger real quick, as long as it fits in your macros. Also, for other foods and snacks you eat in the day, I highly advise that you do not cut them out, you just find the lower calorie swap for it. Instead of eating regular ice cream, switch to the Halo Top, a lower calorie ice cream. If you love chips, I highly recommend you switch to popcorn. I used to eat like 2 to 4 cups of the hot Cheeto popcorn every single day. Or also, they probably have a baked version of it. And this could really apply to every single food. There is a sugar-free and fat-free version of every single sauce and food you could imagine. You should absolutely switch to all of these. It will make your life 10 times easier and actually make your diet sustainable. These are the 2 main components of getting your dream physique. Even if you're not doing everything correctly, if you're just going to the gym and progressive overloading and eating healthier than you were before, you are guaranteed to make progress, and the more you do it, the more you figure out. It's just like anything else in life. Many people will get off-put by the fact that they look at someone with a dream physique and they tell them it took 7 years for them to get there. But what you fail to realize is that you make progress every single month and every single week that you lift. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say you can get your dream physique in 6 months. You can certainly get a physique that you are very proud of and very confident with in 6 months. And more importantly, it's very unlikely that if you love the way you're training and you love the way that your diet is, that you're going to make a lot of progress in 6 months and then just decide to stop and gain all the weight back. It just wouldn't make any sense. But here's a few extra tips that could help you. Number 1 is cardio. You don't have to kill yourself and do a lot of very high intensity cardio, but something I do highly recommend is at the very least walking. Walking is one of the most underrated forms of cardio because a lot of people say it's too low intensity, but realistically, if you just took your dog on a walk for 20 or 30 minutes, you would burn close to 300 calories, which is very good. Even just little things, like if you go to the grocery store, purposely park far away to get some extra steps in. Secondly is sleep. Many studies out there say that you need 6 to 8 hours of sleep. I think that's complete BS. If you're training in the gym, I think you need over 8 hours of sleep, somewhere between 8 to 10 hours. I understand it's very hard for some people because a lot of you are in high school or college and you have to get up early. There's nothing wrong with just taking a midday nap for about 30 minutes to an hour. It's actually proven to be quite healthy. This doesn't even just apply to going to the gym. You will feel better in every aspect of life if you just get more sleep. You'll look more fresh, more attractive. And just remember, it's very hard to overtrain, but it's very easy to under-recover. So don't take your recovery lightly. And lastly is supplements. If you want me to be 100% honest, supplements are not really necessary, but they sure can help a lot. The supplements that I use on a daily basis are vitamin D, creatine, protein powder, and pre-workout. If you live in a less sunny state or just don't go outside that much, vitamin D is honestly essential. There's a study showing that about 85% of the US population has a severe vitamin D deficiency. And this will just make you feel better, honestly, almost immediately. For pre-workout, this is absolutely not a necessity, but I've just noticed I have a much better workout and get a much better pump when I use it. It's gonna give you an extra energy burst, extra focus, and there's really no reason to not use it. But pre-workout is basically just caffeine and a bunch of other supplements. Of course, you could just drink some coffee, or you could just be a savage and not use it at all. Protein powder, also something not too necessary. I don't actually use this on a daily basis, but if you need to get some extra protein into your day, this is quite useful. Also a note, even if you are someone to not track your macros, it's very unlikely that you're not going to get enough protein throughout what you eat in the day. Ideally, every single meat product, whether it's red meat, chicken, salmon, or just any white fish, will be packed with a lot of protein and realistically probably some healthy fats. And also many dairy products such as Greek yogurt, cheese, and milk will have a lot of protein in them, as well as a few additional supplements such as protein powder. And lastly, creatine. I didn't use creatine for the first 2.5 years I lifted, so you can absolutely make progress without it, but it's just going to be one of those things that's going to help you a lot in the gym. It's going to give you intramuscular water retention and give you that extra burst of energy in the gym, but it's not going to make a huge difference, so don't get your expectations too high. The best way I could put it, if you have good genetics, a good diet, and good training, you could probably put on 15 to 16 pounds of muscle naturally in a year. If you were to take creatine for the full year, you'd probably put on 16 to 17 pounds of muscle. It might not sound like a lot, but it's actually quite a big difference over time. I'm going to make more videos highlighting all of these topics in the future. This is just a quick, short guide of basically everything you need. And I hope this video helps. Like, comment, and subscribe for more tips.